time to open up your eyes, 'cause we were made to fly. We can do anything. We'll shine like the sun, the moon, the stars. We can go anywhere. They'll see us no matter where we are, 'cause we got the fire. We got the fire. Show the world the impossible is possible. Show the world the impossible is possible. There's a moment when you understand. You don't gotta follow all the plans. It's time to open up your hands.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I apologize for coming in on your Sunday, but as you know, sometimes we cannot get to you the Friday after our Board of Education meeting due to scheduling. So this particular weekend, we had our 108th State Leadership Convention for Georgia PTA. I actually reside on the board of the state board as an advisor for family engagement with Georgia PTA. And so we have been in Columbus, Georgia, and training PTA leaders around the state of Georgia and making sure that they're ready for the start of school to continue to support our parents, our teachers, and our students within our local unit around the state of Georgia. And of course, always making sure that we do what we can to ensure that every child's potential becomes a reality. So I'm very grateful for the work of Georgia PTA and being able to serve even in this capacity for our children. And so that's where we're at. So good news, the PTA that I am the president over, the Lindley Middle School PTSA, we have been awarded a National PTA School of Excellence. There we go. And this is the second year in a row that we have been acknowledged as a National PTA School of Excellence. And that is largely in part to one of my good friends and fellow workers, laborers here in the vineyard, as we will say, Larissa James, who is at Pebblebrook High School now. She was the immediate past president at Lindley Middle School. And she began the work a couple of years ago in regards to how we can support our students. And this was around mental health. So she has some foresight and vision in regards to that. And so we have continued the work. And as a result of that, we have been acknowledged with a 2-year plan of supporting our students. And so we're excited about that. And we're going to continue that work and that vision. And so they also gave us a plaque certificate as well. And so we're excited about that. So thank you to Georgia PTA for recognizing Lindley Middle School. And we receive awards from all over what I call our region Post 3. So we received a lot of awards. We were excited to see PTA president from Hendricks Elementary in Post 3. She came to the convention. We had our South Cobb Council members were there. Some Jesse Coleman members were at the PTA conference getting the training. East Cobb County Council, of course, ECCC, they represented in large numbers. Cheatham Hill Elementary School, they brought their entire board of for their local unit PTA, and just a lot of people there. So we're thankful for the work, and we're thankful for the city of Columbus for opening their doors to us and allowing us to come and invade your space for a weekend. We can be a bit rowdy at times, and thank you for allowing us to come and enjoy your beautiful city. All right, so let's get to the business of why we are here. As always, we will give a recap of what happened in our last Board of Education meeting. So our last Board of Education meeting was Thursday, June the 9th, 2022. And so work session, of course, we had some training prior to that. And then, of course, the voting session in the evening. And so we did get a lot of work done in those regards. Let's see. So let's start off with just giving you a recap of the meeting and give you some of our meeting notes. We were able to do our monthly financial statement that we do every month. In addition to that, the superintendent and our Brad Johnson, our CFO, also gave us the results of our annual independent financial audit. Very clean audit as always, and so we're thankful for our financial department for always ensuring that our books are managed well and professionally. And so, in addition to that, our SPLOS 5 performance audit was also given, and that was just an update on where we are with our SPLOS and that audit that is done annually as well, and those funds that we are capturing and responsible for. And so that audit came back clean. And then we also got a student support service update from our chief leadership officer and interim academic officer, Sherry Hill. And so it was a very extensive report. I made a statement that it was like drinking from a water hose because there was a lot of great information in it in regards to how we're supporting our students, in ensuring that they are receiving quality education and that they're learning. And so some of the highlights that came from that I just want to quickly and briefly go over, please go back to the meeting and watch it. But it talked about how we actually support our students and what group of students are being supported. Special education. And most people don't realize that even when we're talking about special education, we're not necessarily just talking about students who have challenges, but gifted education is also a part of special education. So those students that require us to push them beyond the curriculum because they're ready. Those children also fall into our special education program through the state. Our English speakers and those who are English learners rather, and those of other languages that are trying to learn English. Those students, our homeless population, our Title I population, we know that is geared based on free and reduced lunch, and we'll give some caveat to that. This year we use direct information from Georgia Department of Public Health, not public health, but our SNAPS department at CPS. Student assistant programs, our school social workers, and school health services. And so we went through a list of that, but we talked about all the different students that we currently serve, over 14,000 students served in special education. We talked about those students who require special needs assistance educationally before they even come into kindergarten. So as early as age 3, we can begin supporting students who we have acknowledged have some challenges or delays and need to be serviced through our special ed program, our special ed pre-K program, and that is as early as 3rd grade. And I know it's kind of hard to say. If you need more information, go to the website, but there is a space in our website under teaching and learning and specialization under special education, but you can also call our district office. You can also just show up at any one of your area schools, and they are capable of directing you on who we can contact to get your students identified or your children identified as early as the age of 3, should we notice that or we determine that there are some challenges that need to be addressed through special education services. We talked about all of our specialized classrooms, 457 of them, whether it is autism, intellectual disabilities, pre-K, our transition program, emotional behavior disorder. Again, an additional 4,000 students served with Section 504. So those with IEPs and 504s, we service your students. We also talked about our nursing program. We talked about community-based preschool, and then we have an early learning center in South Cobb. It's at the former Harmony Leland Elementary School. And so those of you that desire to have your students in a specialized pre-K program, please check and see on our district website and also at the South Cobb Early Learning Center website in regards to how we can get your children plugged in to that day-long program. It also will have after-school programs starting this school year as well. And we will have a new director for that program as well. So be on the lookout for some additional information in regards to that. We talked about the different resources that we have available for families that do have children with special needs and are being serviced through our special needs program. We also talked about, again, advanced learning for those that are requiring, our Target and advanced content classes and things of that nature. We talked about the different opportunities that we have for them. One of them that I like is the dual enrollment opportunity for high school students. You can actually get a lot of credit hours and cut some years off your college time if you so desire. Again, our ESOL, English learning population, and we talked about how many students that we are serving district-wide. 12,000 students, over 12,000 students are participating in this program from elementary, middle to high school. And we talked about the testing requirements and how we actually move your children up. And by the time they get to high school, we are working to ensure that they are proficient in English, and how we support those students and through our multi-tiered system, RTI. Let's see what else we have. We'll get through this thing. Title I program. Most of the schools actually 100% of the schools in Post 3 are Title I. And so we talked about that programming piece and how it is facilitated through the federal government and the Every Student Succeeds Act, our ESSA Act. And so we look at family engagement through that portal. It's a data-driven program. In the past, it was based on how many people filled out the free and reduced lunch program form. This year they used another avenue to capture that data, but please let's make sure we're still filling out that form. It's on every school's website. And when we go back to school, let's make sure that we're filling it out, because we want to make sure that we're capturing all the monies that are available to us in that particular arena, especially for those of us in Post 3, because all of our schools are Title I, and those additional resources help us. School counseling, we talked about the number of counselors that we have. Currently, we have, according to the district, one counselor per 370 students on average. And so that was discussed. Also, those of us in our area, like Bryant Elementary, South Cobb High School, Pebblebrook High School, Lindley 6th Grade Academy, Garrett Middle School, have participated in the RAMP program, which is like it's a model program for our counselors and to help our schools. And so currently this year, I believe we have 4 schools that are recognized through the RAMP program, but also 2 schools of distinction, I believe, was mentioned. When we talk about our crisis response team, when we have emergencies and different things where we have to dispatch our crisis team to the schools, and student assistant programs, that's like PBIS, you would have heard about that, our positive behavior interventions and support teams that we have at our schools to help support our students behaviorally. Cobb Mentor Matters. We don't talk a lot about it, but there's opportunities if you desire to mentor and be a mentor to students in our schools. We have a process, and it's through the Cobb Mentor Matters. I believe we have a new director as of a couple years ago, maybe last year sometime. And so she is eagerly awaiting whether it be your church group, civic group, your fraternity, your sorority, on how we can get involved and help support our students and support our schools. We can do that through Cobb Mentor Matters. And so there's an application, a process, background checks, of course. And then we move forward from there. So please take advantage of that if you can. Student assistant programs, we talk about our social workers, those that are trained to help support our students, wraparound services that we have within our capabilities. In addition to the teaching and learning that we are doing, we do have additional resources and different partners that we partner with to provide some of these services. Many of you may be familiar with Communities in Schools, as they are in many of our high schools in the southern portion of the county, Pebblebrook High School, South Cobb High School, Osborne High School, and then also in some of our middle schools, Garrett Middle School particularly. And we're expanding, hopefully, to some additional middle schools and high schools starting next school year to, again, continue supporting students to make sure that students are getting the resources that they need to ensure that they graduate. So Communities in Schools is a dropout prevention organization, and they provide wraparound services for students within the school building. So it's just an additional layer of support to help those students and those families to ensure that that student gets to graduation. And so we're very excited about that partnership, and we're thankful for the work of Natalie Rutledge, who is the executive director for Cobb and Marietta's chapter of the Communities in Schools program. And so we're thankful for them. And I believe we have other programs like Metro Recess at Osborne High School, in addition to Communities in Schools. And so we're thankful for these programs that we have that help us make sure that our students have all the tools and resources they need to be successful. We talked about our health program with the number of nurses that we have in every school. So it's just exciting that we do have a program where, or a school district where every school does have nursing, a nurse in the building, as well as a team of nurses that help support those individual nurses. Many of you may know that has been critical, especially over the last couple of years during the pandemic, and working closely with Cobb and Douglas Public Health. So we're thankful for some of these additional resources that we have to help support education within the Cobb County School District. And then we talked about the, with having over 108,000 students within our district currently, having these nurses in our buildings are critical because our students come with a lot of concerns around allergies, asthma, ADHD, you name it. We can help support it. And so I was excited about that. And so this was a lot of information. Please go back, look at the presentation. As it is a lot of information shared in regards to how we support our students to make sure that they are receiving the education that they need. Also on our agenda, we had a school safety update, and that was from the superintendent. Let me see. Here we go. And from that, there's not a lot of details given in regards to this, simply because when we're talking about safety, some things have to be kept at the local school level and not spread and disseminated throughout. But there are measures being put in place, and there are measures that have already been in place that are being expanded upon. And so one of those additional tools that we're going to be using is Centegix. Many of you are familiar with the alert point system. We are no longer using the alert point system. So the alert point system is gone. It has been replaced with an additional tool of safety called Centegix. So Centegix will operate similar to an alert point system. There will be badges and different things within the building that will help support making sure that we have that we can access an emergency quickly. And so we are told that proof of concept will be implemented in all of our schools and installed in all of our schools by August, which means when we go back in August, our teachers will be trained, our administrators will be trained. And so, which leads me to believe that our students will go through a series of training as well to ensure that they know what to do in the event of an emergency as well. And so this is about the code red and all the different codes that we may have to help support making sure that we can respond quickly to an emergency. And so that will be happening. So I am advising, as I would do as a parent, I'm going to speak with my boys about it. Listen, this is what we have a lot of different drills that you have to go through in school to ensure your safety while you're in that building. And this is just one of them. So just be on the lookout for and pay attention. Make sure you understand what you need to do. Just like we would do if it was a tornado drill and all those different drills that we go throughout the year to ensure safety in the event of emergency, regardless to what the emergency may be. We talked about the Cobb County School District Police Department. So our school district does have its own police department that is also dispatched and housed in all of the high schools, and also help support the elementary and middle schools within our area. We have on staff, I believe, 70 or close to 70 post officers, peace officers that help support our schools as well. And so we're excited about having layers of support to ensure the safety of our students while they're in the building. Again, it is critical for us to understand that school is a safe place for our students. And so in order for us to ensure that we are providing layers of support to ensure the safety of our students. The tip line is still available. If you see something, you say something, and all those different things. Cobb Shield is still in place. And so we've also added a concerned cops mentoring program. One of the things that I find to be very helpful is community policing, where those of us that are within a community, we know who is there to serve and protect us. And so I think that is important, even within our schools, that our children are aware of the officers who are in the building. And when I say peace officers, that's a certification as to what their duties are and how they respond. So to the public that they are particularly serving within our communities. And so make sure that we are aware of that particular initiative as well. but ask your children to get involved with the COPS mentoring program, or Concerned COPS mentoring program. They're there to help support our schools as well. And of course, they go through a series of trainings and professional development, just like our educators, to ensure that they are providing the best service to our schools and our communities and our students. So one of the questions that I asked was in regards to all of the drills and the different drills and trainings that we're having. How often do we have them? Because as you know, schools that have high transiency or mobility, as I would like to call it, with students going in and out of the schools, how often are we providing the support to students to ensure that they all know what to do in the event of emergency, and also having some consistency so that if you start off at Bryant this week, but you move around the corner and now you're at City View Elementary, there's some consistency as far as the what the expectation is and what to do, but also that if I'm a new student coming into the district mid-year, that there's going to be some training that's given to me as well, so that I am brought up to speed as to what to do in the event of an emergency. And so I'm thankful that per the superintendent, that was an expectation, and that is what is actually happening and will continue to happen in our area schools. So please ask your children, talk to your children about it so that you are aware when these things are happening, so that we can help track and ensure that we are properly supporting our individual schools to ensure that our students are safe within those buildings. So, all right, let's see. I believe there was some talks in regards to No Place for Hate. I know that has been a hot topic item, and our removal of that particular support for students and their social emotional learning and health. And I believe that it was acknowledged that we do have additional programming that we have put in place in regards to that. So ask your principals, whether you're in the PTA or whether you are in your school council meetings, what are the different initiatives? Because from my understanding, there's a list of things that we can do to help support the school and the culture and the climate within the school building, and help support students to make the best decisions, and ensuring that we are being kind and supportive, and growing real healthy mental health, mentally healthy adults and students. So as there's a series of different opportunities that your school will have in order to move forward with some of those initiatives. So please reach out to your principal. Once school gets started, I believe principals may still be in the buildings currently. I'm not saying bombard them because they're preparing for the next school year. But if we want to start having some of these conversations, reach out to your local schools to find out what is available, and ask your principal what are the plans, what are their plans, and how can we as a community help support some of those plans and those initiatives that we have available for our students and for the safety of our students within the schools. Okay, board item agendas. There was a utility easement for Sprayberry. That doesn't help us. Oh, one of the big things was a SPLOST project that we approved, and it was for an architect, trying to get an architect appointed for interior school security improvement initiatives. And so the superintendent discussed what this is, and this is a SPLOST 5 project, so a project that we have been working on since since we started talking about SPLOST 5, and we voted on it maybe 2015, 2016, somewhere around that time. But this is a project where we're going to do some upgrades in our buildings in regards to interior schools security improvements. And so we are excited that we're at the point now to where we're able to roll that out and get an architect assigned to start looking at how we're going to move forward, even in those regards. And again, because safety is a hot topic right now, even though it's a hot topic every day, this is one of the measures and one of the tools that we're using also to ensure that we are better prepared for in the event of emergency within our local schools. So also, this is exciting for post 3 / the future post 2, South Cobb High School. We approved an award for a construction manager at risk for the gymnasium addition at South Cobb High School. So South Cobb High School is getting their brand new gym. We're excited about that. And so we have recommended the superintendent to approve a contract for a construction manager at risk for that particular project. And so we're going to be moving forward with that project. And so I will be looking to see the details of that particular project once the architect comes on board, and make sure that we are out and discussing within the community as to what that project looks like, because it says gymnasium addition and renovation. So there's going to be some renovations and some updates to existing facility at South Cobb High School. Again, don't know exactly what all that entails just yet, but we'll be working with the district to communicate those things to you as well. And so we're thankful again for your SPLOST dollars that allow us to continue to support and improve education in Cobb County. Lastly, we had a recommendation for approval to affirm the Georgia Accrediting Commission, which is an additional accrediting body for our Cobb County high schools. And so this one here was minimal. It was not. It was minimal to the budget, but being dually accredited is a great thing to have multiple accreditations for our schools, and multiple bodies that we are accountable to is a great thing. And so we're excited to offer this opportunity for our high schools as well. All right, Mr. Scammelhorn, he read the Facilities and Technology Citizens Oversight Committee report to us as well, and we were able to briefly discuss what that meant. And so some of the highlights that the superintendent mentioned in his report: over 8,000 graduates in Cobb County over the last month. And so we're excited about that for all of our graduates, the class of 2022, distinguished class of 2022. We are so excited for you as you have closed this chapter and now opening a new chapter in your life. We are still excited for you. We're still celebrating with you. And we look to continue to be a support to you as you move forward. Then let's see what else we did. We had a land motion, I think, a contract in regards to some land that we want to purchase in the Kemp School area. That was done. We talked about CETA. CETA is our is housed at Osborne High School, but it's a district solution to like a career academy, and it is growing. We have over 400 students that will be enrolled in the 2022-2023 school year. And so we're excited to see that particular program being expanded and growing. COVID kind of, slowed it down a little bit, but we're excited to see that it is coming back stronger. And more students are taking advantage of that particular initiative. And so that's exciting to see as well. Dr. Tiffany Barney is doing an excellent job as the director of CETA, and I believe that we will be announcing soon an assistant director, as the previous assistant director will be coming to Lindley Middle School as our principal in the fall. And so we're excited about Mr. Guillory coming to Lindley Middle School. And but we'll talk about the employment stuff in just a moment. All right, let's see what else. Those of you that still have concerns in regards to safety and mental health concerns within our school district, please, again, I reiterate, please look at the actual meeting. Go back to our school district website and go to, I think it's called Boxcast, and look at the meeting, look at what actually transpired. I saw a news report that suggested that the Board of Education approved Centegix, that there was an actual motion and approval. We that did not happen. It was an update from our superintendent telling us, or just informing the board and informing the community of some of the efforts that we have coming online to help support safety in our schools. And so I'm not sure how some of that stuff gets confused sometimes, but I just wanted to make sure that we're clear on what actually happened in the meeting. There was no approval from the Board of Education per se, just an update to the board. All right, let's see what else we have. Before we get into public comment, I want to go over the Human Resources Report. And this is a big deal because around this time of year, May, June, July, you're going to see a lot of changes in regards to leadership, who's the new principals at our schools. And this information is also posted under the agenda for our board meeting. The updated agenda, you'll see, the different changes in the personnel report as well. But those things that are important to us in post 3, let me go through them quickly. James Rawls, he's the principal of Daniel Middle School currently. He will be coming to be the new principal at Cooper Middle School. So we are excited to have James Rawls join us at Cooper Middle School. He will be joining us effective July 1st. So again, principal advisory councils or your PTAs, our new principal does not start until July 1st. So let's give him a minute to get acclimated. Give him a minute to get in the door before we bombard him about all the great things that's going on at Cooper and how we want to continue the work of being an excellent school in the South Cobb area. I understand it is exciting. James Rawls is ready to work and help support the students at Cooper Middle School and help support the community and the families at Cooper Middle School. He's actually a great guy and a great leader. And he's going to be an asset to the continual growth of Cooper. And so we are excited about that. So you're asking, well, what about Dr. Vanessa Watkins, who is the current principal of Cooper Middle School? Well, we're excited to say that Dr. Watkins is being reassigned. She's been promoted to the principal of Campbell High School in Smyrna. And so we are excited. We're excited for Dr. Watkins. We're excited about her upward mobility into the position of supporting Campbell High School. Campbell High School is our IB school and our IB magnet school. And so we are excited for Campbell Middle School because you are Campbell High School because you are getting an excellent leader, a very professional leader, an excellent leader in Dr. Vanessa Watkins. I am so excited for Campbell. You know, we don't like to hold anyone hostage and stagnant in Cobb County, but she is an excellent leader, and we are excited to see what she do and what she brings to the Campbell High School community. In addition to some of the changes that we saw, those of you, the Bryant Elementary family, I know that that Dr. Klein is now going to Nickajack, and Principal Curry is coming to Bryant Elementary. But I must acknowledge that everyone who knows Don Allison Ruiz, she's our academic coach. And we absolutely love and adore Dawn. She is being promoted to become an assistant principal at Norton Park. And so while we will miss her at Bryant Elementary, she is an asset to wherever she goes. She has supported our community well at Bryant Elementary. And so we are excited to see you progress and move forward at Norton Park, and we're excited to see the great work that you're going to provide to this district in the future. And so we're excited for this appointment. Yes, Bryant, it is a hit, but again, we will recover well because we have a great foundation. So some of the other changes, and just like we were talking about the academic coach at Bryant, academic coach at Sanders Elementary, Kathleen Bender. I don't want to scare anybody. Catherine isn't going to another school. She is being promoted to an assistant principal at Sanders Elementary. So we're excited about that. This is a big deal. This is the principal at Sanders, Ms. Fiedler. She is an excellent leader, and she recognizes great leaders, and she has this eye for leadership and developing it and promoting it. And so this is a great move for the Sanders community. And so we're excited about Kathleen Bender being promoted to an assistant principal. She's joining she's joining Mr. Michael Clayton over there as the assistant principal. And so we are just excited about the leadership team at Sanders Elementary. In fact, I need to come by there soon, and we need to just have lunch or something, because I'm just always blown away at the work that is being done at Sanders and that leadership team, and how special it is and how it supports our students within that community. Also, we had some changes at another one of our schools, City View Elementary. I don't know what it is. These academic coaches, they're just really stepping forward and doing a great job. But Mr. James Groover, those of us who know and love Mr. James Groover at City View Elementary, he is being promoted to an assistant principal as well. And so we are excited for that growth and development even in him. He has been an excellent leader, teacher leader, academic coach leader at City View, and to see him moving on to the next stage to continue supporting City View is exciting. And so we're appreciative to the leadership at City View, Dr. Sweeney, and she actually is another one who is good at recognizing leadership, developing leadership, and then promoting leadership and putting them in place to help support our students. And so we're always thankful for the work of Dr. Sweeney and what she is doing and continues to do at the City View Elementary School. All right, we have now, we may be upset about this one, but Bellini Teklu, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but this is one of our great teachers at City View as well. Now she is leaving City View, but it's for a good reason. She's being promoted to assistant principal at King Springs Elementary, and so again, this is a testament to the leadership of Dr. Sweeney and developing leaders and having them prepared to go out into our South Cobb community to begin to do the work of being an administrator. And so thank you. And we're going to miss you, but we are excited about your growth and development moving forward. This is another reassignment that we have. Dr. James Bishop, he's being reassigned to Tapp Middle School. And he's an assistant principal from Sprayberry High School. And so we're excited to have him come to Tapp and help support the young people at Tapp Middle School. Dr. Alvin Thomas, great leadership at Tapp Middle School. And so we are appreciative to have Dr. James Bishop join us at Tapp Middle School in Powder Springs. Powder Springs, I think we have, Austin Smith from McEachern. He's actually going to Dickerson. So he will not be at McEachern next year. For those of you that are looking, he will be going to, he's going to Dickerson Middle School. All right, let's see what else we have here. Oh yeah, high school. These are there's a lot of movement and a lot of great stuff happening. So one of our assistant principals from Campbell will be going, So Dr. Vanessa Watkins, we just discussed that she's going to Campbell Middle School. She's taking with her Dr. Este, who is the assistant principal at Cooper Middle School. She'll be going to assist Dr. Watkins at Campbell High School. And so we do know how that works. Usually our principal leaders have, so oftentimes you will see that they will bring a assistant principal with them to help support the work of moving forward, especially during the transition stage. And so Dr. Danette will be moving to Campbell High School with Dr. Watkins effective in July. And so again, excited about all of the movement and the changes that's going to better the schools here in the southern portion of the county. Those of you that remember, those of you may remember Robert Figueroa. He was assistant principal at Harrison, I believe, at one time. But Robert Figueroa is a graduate of Pebblebrook High School. He was also part of the Cobb County Center for Excellence in the Performing Arts. And so we are excited to have Robert Figueroa. We're going to welcome him home as an assistant principal at Pebblebrook High School. He will be joining the leadership team of Dr. Dana Giles. And so we are excited to see this change and this transition of leadership. And so welcome home, Robert Figueroa at Pebblebrook High School. We're excited for that. Also, changes. So while we're welcoming home Figueroa, we're also saying we love you, Brittany Jones, who's also a graduate of Pebblebrook High School and an assistant principal and athletic director at Pebblebrook High School. She is being reassigned to Wheeler High School. So she is moving forward. Growth and development to assist the Wildcat community. And so we are loving on you, Brittany. We're wishing you well as you transition to support the Wildcat community in East Cobb. And so we're appreciative for all of the leadership that you have gathered and gained at Pebblebrook High School and now taking it to the Wildcat family. All right. Oh, another one of our Falcons, assistant principal Tanya Polk. Oh, we love you, Miss Polk. Miss Polk is also leaving Pebblebrook High School to go to North Cobb High School as an assistant principal. And so she's going from one end of the county really to the other end of the county. And Miss Polk, we are excited about your transition. and we are excited about what you're going to deliver and what you're going to bring to the North Cobb High School family. And we appreciate all of the service and all of the hard work and dedication that you've given to Pebblebrook High School. And again, a testament to the leadership at Pebblebrook High School, Dr. Dana Giles, in regards to ensuring that our principals don't stay stagnant, but that they can move forward and they can move out into other areas of Cobb County and be effective leaders because of that tutelage under Dr. Dana C. Giles. So we appreciate that and that transition. We also have, looks like Michael Sawyer is coming to McEachern High School as an assistant principal, and he is currently an assistant principal at Wheeler High School. So there's a transition that's happening there. Yep. That's right, John. Congrats to Robert and Brittany. I believe you know these good people, and we are excited for both of them. One's leaving the nest and one's coming back to the nest. But again, we are excited about their growth and development and what they're going to do to Pebblebrook and at the Wildcat Nation School. And then we have, this is a big one. James Thigpen, he's an assistant principal at Campbell High School. He is going to be coming to South Cobb High School. So we will see that change as well. And in regards to James Thigpen, new assistant principal at South Cobb High School. All right, so yes, that was a lot. That was a lot of changes and transitions, but trust me, for the betterment of our schools, and the betterment of the professional development for those educators who are supporting students within the Cobb County School District. And so we're excited about that. Quickly, we're going to go into our public commenters before we end this session, because we are already at 42 minutes. So yeah, we need to be wrapping it up. So in our work session, we had 6 public commenters. Many of these names you will recognize, as they are regulars on our locally broadcasted monthly board meeting. And so we appreciate those of you that continue to come and speak to the Board of Education on behalf of our community. We appreciate that partnership and hearing your voice, letting your voice be heard. And so the first of our speakers is Laura Judge. And she came to talk to the Board of Education in regards to mental health and addressing it as a result of the mass shootings that we have just experienced, not just recently, but over the last 2 decades, and advocating for school counselors and the need of making sure that we have a goal to improve the ratio of student to counselors. And while there are a lot of different metrics out there as regards to what best practices are, I believe it is 1 to 250 students. I think the state of Georgia recognizes 1 to 400, and we're a little better than the 400. I think we're at 1 to 370, I believe. But we recognize that, or 250 to 1. Thank you, Jennifer, who is a school counselor. We appreciate you. We recognize that we have more work to do to improve our numbers. Even though we exceed the Georgia number, we want to get closer to what's best for students. And so thank you for advocating for us to do what we can and use whatever funds we have available and programming pieces to ensure that we are supporting our the mental health of our students. And so thank you, Laura Judge. Advocating, this was the next person, Miss Mindy Seeger. Thank you for coming. We appreciate you coming monthly. And she was advocating for the Be Smart framework, and for that Be Smart program framework to be implemented in Cobb schools. And so she gave us, some documentation in regards to what the Be Smart format framework was designed to do in regards to is gun safety. And so we appreciate you for this. I'm actually going to be going through this over the weekend and looking at how this can help us in regards to gun safety in our homes and making sure that we provide safe environments at home and at school in regards to gun safety. So thank you, Mindy, for coming and speak to us. The next speaker was Jeff Hubbard. He lives in Marietta, and he wanted to talk to us in regards to some policy modifications. He is the new president of the Cobb County Association of Educators. And so he came and introduced himself to us and then got right on to doing what he does and what his role is. And that's policy advocating at a district level to help support our teachers. and our communities. And so we welcome you and look forward to speaking with you in the immediate future, Mr. Hubbard, in regards to Cobb County's Association of Educators. Okay, number 4. Oh, Miss Jennifer Susko, she's on the line with us today. Thank you, Jennifer, for joining us. She came to discuss alert point malfunction and failure of leadership and her concerns as it relates to when she was in the classroom around the alert point and what happened the day that we had the malfunction of alert point, and just giving some insight in regards to how it mentally affected not just the children, but the educators in the building as well. And so thank you for just giving insight into what that looked like on that day and how we move forward to ensure that whatever we provide for support, that it is thoughtful and that that it is the best choice for all schools. The 5th person, yes, Miss Becky Saylor. She is a candidate for Cobb County School District Board of Education Post 2, which will encompass starting in January. It will encompass South Cobb High School and Lindley Middle School, Floyd Middle School, some other elementary and middle schools. I'm not sure which ones that are being added to that post. And we'll find out shortly in regards to that. But as you know, South Cobb High School and that feeder was originally in post 3 in this post that I represent, but a lot of that has been now pushed into post 2 rather. And so Becky Saylor has come. She will be on the ballot in November. She has also been endorsed by Dr. Howard, who is the current board member for post 2, Sharice Davis, who is the current board member for post 6, and also myself, Trey Hutchins for post 3. All 3 of us have endorsed Becky Saylor for to represent you on the Cobb County School District Board of Education next year. So November is when that election will happen. And but she came in regards to communication concerns, and she wanted the district to improve our communications. And I've heard from many of you on a regular in regards to your concerns in regards to communication coming from the district. I have expressed it as well, my concerns in regards to that. And so we do have room for improvement. We recognize it, and we're going to improve. So thank you, Becky, for coming and discussing your communication concerns. And she's been advocating in regards to dual language immersion programs in the Smyrna schools, Nickajack specifically, and some of the schools in that area. When we were discussing some of that transitional things, because of course, those of you that are in like City View and Riverside and Clarkdale, I believe, we've experienced some changes in regards to our dual language program, immersion program. And so she came advocating for that. But communication around school safety and racism in our schools, she's been an advocate, really just advocating for culture and climate within our schools. And so we appreciate you for coming and sharing with the Cobb County School District Board of Education. Our 6th and final speaker for the morning session was Heather Tolley Bauer. She is with Watching the Funds Cobb. She had, and she lives in post 4, I believe now. And she came to speak to us in regards to school safety. And while she referenced alert point and the $5.3 million price tag on it and it's malfunctioning, she referenced Iggy and the UV lights and all that stuff. But she really was just advocating to make sure that whatever we do moving forward, that that it is an improved effort to ensure safety in our schools. And so we thank you. We thank you, Watching the Funds Cobb, for your advocacy and what you do and how you want to support our students in the Cobb County School District and make sure that we are fiscally responsible with our tax dollars. Thank you. All right, the night session. We're going to move through this quickly. We had 11 speakers. The first speaker, Tova Ringland. We thank you, Tova, for continuing to come and to advocate for the most vulnerable of our student population, our special needs students. And as a special needs educator and as a special needs parent, we thank you, thank you, thank you. Always looking to hear from you in regards. This week was the unique learning curriculum. It's called Unique Learning Curriculum, that it is not adequate. And so I'll, reach out to our chief leadership officer to get clarity on what this is. and find out why it's not adequate. And even though you left us some comments, in with your comments, you kind of explain why. We'll be interested to hear how we move forward with that to further address the needs. And so we'll be doing that soon. I'm not checking out yet. Just a moment. I'll be out in a minute. Still in a hotel room, y'all. They're ready for me to go and clean the room. So we're still in Columbus. We're getting ready to drive back. So sorry about that. Number 2, Monica Delancey. Monica Delancey came to speak to us, and it was just a message of hope. Monica's one of our big community leaders in the southern portion of the county, and we need to care just a little bit more. Monica, I couldn't agree with you more in regards to supporting students. And while we're talking about all the different things that are happening, gun violence and different things, she also talked about the disruption to families being evicted from their homes and how that disrupts children. And so when we are talking about supporting students, it was very good day to come, because again, we were talking about student supports. We need to care just a little bit more. So thank you, Monica, for coming and continuing to advocate for students. Also, Amanda Larkin was our third speaker, and she came to talk about DLI for middle schools. And she gave us some information in regards to that, and middle school Spanish options for our DLI students, and how we are going to grow that pathway from elementary to middle school. And she gave some concerns in regards to that and how we could move forward in that regards. Thank you, Amanda. The next person to speak was Darlene McConnell. She's a South Cobb High School graduate. Thank you for coming back and speaking. And she wanted to speak of special education malpractice at Mount Bethel Elementary School. And she has some concerns in regards to that. And so thank you for bringing this to our attention. I'm sure our leadership team is going to move forward to investigate and address some of the concerns that you mentioned in your presentation to the board, followed by Mr. Brett McConnell, who is an 18-year teacher. And he wanted to also address some of the issues around special education and those concerns at Mount Bethel. And so we're going to follow up with our leadership team to see what that looked like and how we address that. All right. Stacy Efrat. Thank you, Stacy. Stacy is another one of our frequent speakers. And so she's also with the group Watching the Funds Cobb. She lives in Post 5. She wanted to talk about mental health services for children. And she discussed the application, our ARPA application, and the allocation of how much money was allocated for mental health services. And I guess that number was 0. And so I think she gave us a copy of the application. I'm going to look at that and see what we're doing in regards to that, because again, mental health and making sure we have enough services to provide proper mental health is important. Let's see. Number 7, Austin Heller. He was a previous candidate for school board post 5. I think it was post 5, maybe post 4. But Austin Heller came and he spoke to us in regards to school safety. And he gave us a story of one of the students from Robb Elementary, and wanted to ensure that we are doing our part to ensure school safety and mental health support for our students. The 8th person, Shannon Dyson. Yes, Miss Shannon has come several times. She's with Watching the Funds Cobb as well. And she wanted to make sure that our educators have the necessary tools for safety to ensure that they can keep our students safe in the event of emergency. Thank you, Jennifer. Let's see, who else? Number 9, Orit Small. She has a first grader at Nickajack. That parent has a first grader at Nickajack, and he wanted to talk about mental health support and also safety concerns. And so thank you for coming, Orit, to come and speak to us in regards to that. The 10th person, Jenny Peterson, has come several times as well. She has 2 kids in our Cobb County schools, and she wanted to talk to us about divisive issues in Cobb, her concerns around public trust and public relations from the district. And so thank you for sharing your concerns. And again, as we listening to these concerns, how I can help and ensure that we be better. So thank you, Ms. Jenny, for coming. And then our last speaker was Melissa Martin, and she's a Cobb parent of two, and she wants to speak to us in regards to the Code Red drills that we have within our school district, and mentioned that Strategics was sued in 2020 by another school district. Don't know why, but I'm actually, as a result of your public comment, I'm going to research that and make sure that we are aware as well, so that we can ensure that we are making the right decision and the best decision for safety for our students within Cobb schools. And so we appreciate that as well. Let's see what else was also. That's it. That's all of our speakers. So again, this was a big meeting in regards to safety and how we move forward. I know that this is a sensitive topic right now. And so we will continue to keep our eye on this. We will continue to advocate, and we're going to continue to talk about how we move forward effectively to ensure that we provide safe schools. That this is because safe schools is a top priority. And so one of the questions that I asked the superintendent during his presentation was addressing the election authority here in Cobb County, because again, our campuses are open to the citizenry during elections, and we've had some incidents during that time where it disrupted the school day during the election time. Not necessarily in November, because that is a holiday, so we're not in school that day. Our teachers and our students are not in school that day. However, if there's midterms and primaries and all those different things and special elections, they may not necessarily fall on a day in which we're out of school. And so, and 9 times out of 10, they do not. And so those polling locations that we have within our schools, we need to address and evaluate how we move forward with our county election authority to make some changes in regards to that, so we can ensure that we can do all we can to ensure safe schools every day for our students. So thank you again. If you have any questions, comments, and concerns, you guys know how to reach out to me. But if you don't, and this is your first time catching this, I want to say, oh, Melissa, I didn't know you were on. Thank you for coming to speak. If you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me via my email address and my phone number. If you go to the Cobb County School District website, which is www.cobbk12.org, and then go to board, and it'll have the list of all the board members. Find Trey Hutchins, you click on it, and you will find my name and my email address, thutchins.boardmember@cobbk12.org. That's where you can reach out to me at, and you'll be able to find my phone number. It starts with a 470. I do not have that one memorized. Those of you that have my personal information, you are more than welcome to continue using that as well. Tova, yes, thank you. Oh, no problem. Just catching up as well. And was talking about the unique learning curriculum. So I'll reach out to you so we can talk about it. You gave us a rubric here in regards to the reading levels and things like that. So I'm going to go through that and actually just get my head wrapped around what that is, and we'll talk soon in regards to that as well. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. But yes, please reach out to me. I'm on all social media platforms. Well, I shouldn't say all, but I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and you can reach out to me there as well. And we're doing all we can to ensure that we have safe schools. Thank you, Ray Thomas, Mapleton Improvement Coalition, and your continued partnership and support of our schools. But we're going to do all we can to ensure that this is the best place to teach, lead, and learn in the state of Georgia, and if not nationally. So thank you. We will continue doing the work. And if you need me between now and next month, please do not hesitate to reach out. All right. We will see you guys soon.